These are some of the biggest money mistakes that you can make in your life. If you're trying to get wealthy, if you're trying to get rich, you're trying to have stacks of cash in your bank account, you need to avoid these money mistakes. My name is Nate Jones. I make videos on business, entrepreneurship, how to scale your business, and money, how to get to the next level when building your wealth. Okay, so today I have 4 money mistakes that I see common people, everyday people, even rich people make that you should avoid. Number 1 is not cash flowing your monthly income. Whatever job you have, whatever business you have, whatever it is, you need to have more money coming in than money going out. So what I normally do is every month I take all the income. It doesn't matter for my businesses, from my personal income, whatever it is, and I say, okay, here's my income, here's all my expenses. I take my bank balance or my bank statement, and I have my bank statement here, and I cross-check it with the credit card statement and everything, and I need to make sure that I have more money coming in every month that's going out. And then what I do after that, once you save, so if you're saving $500 a month, $2,000 a month, $4,000 a month, whatever it is, that cash flow you're saving, one step forward, you need to take that cash flow, and a portion of that cash flow you need to go and invest, okay? So whatever it is, if you're saving $1,000 a month, you and your spouse, or maybe it's just you need to sit down and say, okay, if I'm saving $1,000 a month, how much of that do I want to play with, have some fun, go buy some extra stuff with, and how much do I invest? I would say you want to invest at least 50% of that. So that means you'd say, hey, $500 I'm investing in a retirement account, or I'm investing in a brokerage account in stock market, proven investments to make my money make more money. It's important to do this because you're working for money, and what you need to do is you need to take your money that you've worked for and a portion of it, put it away so the money works for you, so someday you don't have to work for money. And a lot of people don't do this. Their spending aligns perfectly with their income, and they live paycheck to paycheck. Don't live paycheck to paycheck. Save money and invest money so someday you can be wealthy. Number 2 is having unreasonable expenses. It's a mistake to have unreasonable expenses. And this is what I think about unreasonable, right? Let's take an example of a car. A lot of people drive way too nice of a car. It's the easiest thing. It gets you from point A to point B. They're driving a BMW or a Mercedes instead of a Honda. I drive a Honda CR-V. Yes, it's a 2024 Honda CR-V. My lease payment is $500 a month. That lease payment is tiny for me compared to my income. I could afford whatever car I want, but I drive a Honda because unreasonable expenses add up. Okay, I could have a Mercedes. My lease payment would probably be $1,200, so there's $700 there. My house, right? My house, I live below my means. My house is nice, but it's not a mansion, right? So I live below my means. That probably saves me about $1,500 a month. So there's about over $2,000 a month that I've saved so far that I can go invest, that I can go make that money, make more money. And then clothing, right? I like to buy Lululemon because it lasts longer, so I don't have to buy as much clothing, but it is more expensive. But there's a lot of things in my life that I do not buy the most flashy thing, even though I can afford it, because I understand how wealth is built. And it's not built by having unreasonable expenses. So think to yourself, okay, what are my budget? And some people budget every dollar. I don't. I look at my money every month, but a lot of people, you need to hold yourself accountable and say, okay, I'm going to budget every category of expense. How much money am I comfortable spending out to eat every month? Where am I at on this? What did I buy? Why did my out to eat budget went over? What happened? Oh, I spent $30 at this restaurant trying to impress somebody that didn't care if we went to a nice restaurant or not. At $30 a plate, so like, oh, I spent $100 at a restaurant. Why'd you do that? So you start going through the expenses and you're paying attention to what was unreasonable this month. If nothing was unreasonable, then yeah, you're doing the right thing. But going through and auditing it and saying, is this a reasonable expense or an unreasonable expense, will help you lead to saving more money, which helps you lead to investing and becoming wealthy. Number 3 is not preparing for big purchases. This includes houses, okay? I believe that a house is not an investment, but it's still a good place to park money compared to renting. Depending on where you're at, right? New York, LA, maybe not so. Maybe better financially to rent there. But in most areas in rural America, suburban America, it makes more sense to buy a house than it does to rent. It's not an investment, it's a place to live. So what I'm trying to say here is, but if you're going to do that, you have to be disciplined enough to save up a down payment and to save up a house fund so that after you buy that house, if something goes out a month later, let's say you got to replace the AC unit, maybe it's $4,000 to do that, $5,000 to do that. Okay, so it's $5,000 to replace that. Do you have that money there? If you don't have that money there, then you're going to have to go in debt to replace that AC unit, and that's where your money gets taken away because you're paying the bank, you're paying interest on that AC unit when you could have paid cash for it. So make sure that when you're making big purchases, you've prepared. You've set money aside for the random unforeseen expenses that happen with big purchases, especially a house. You buy a house, a lot of people become house poor the next day. They only have maybe $4,000 or $5,000 in their bank account. One or two things go south. You got to put everything on credit, and then you start getting behind, then maybe somebody loses their job, and oh my gosh, you're losing the house. So make sure that you're preparing for big purchases by saving up and saving up funds that will fund those big purchases when you buy them. Really, a house is the biggest thing I can really think of when it comes to big purchases that is a reasonable purchase. A lot of people do not prepare to buy a house. They're like, you know what, I want to buy a house, and they have enough for the down payment, and then outside of that, they're broke. So make sure that we're preparing for big purchases. Number 4 is not seeking opportunities. This costs people more money than anything else. Not seeking opportunities is not gauging if you can move jobs every 2 to 3 years, putting your name out there, maybe going to a couple interviews, seeing what somebody else would pay for you. You know, businesses, and I'm a business owner, so I have no problem saying this, businesses are not in business to hire and employ people. They're in business to make money. If a business can let you go and make money, they will probably do it. They won't even think twice about it. So you need to treat your career as a business. So if somebody values you more than the company you're working for, and the raise is a decent bit, I would say it's got to be at least 15 to 20% more than what you're making now is a good movement, right? Try to make your career movements a step up the ladder. What that means is we're not going to move unless it's a substantial raise from the same position to a same position at another company. What we really want to do is find opportunities. The opportunity is advancement in your career. So look for opportunities. Look for opportunities in getting raises. Look for opportunities in changing potential careers. Look at opportunities for doing side hustles. Look for opportunities for starting a business. That's what my page is all about, is I'm reviewing business ideas, reviewing side hustles, other ways in which you can maximize what you're making. But you need to be seeking opportunities so that will then lead to you making more money. Okay, so let me tell you this. You can only reduce your expenses so much, right? You got to eat. You got to have your rent or your mortgage. You have certain levels of expenses, and you can't go lower than that certain level of bare necessities. On the flip side, on your income can continue to go up. And theoretically, you think of the richest people in the world make over $1 billion. So, you know, it's easier to increase income sometimes than it is to decrease expenses. So a lot of people focus so much on expenses, which you should, but you should also be focusing on opportunities, because some expenses are really hard to cut out because you have to live. So these are my 4 money mistakes. Avoid these today if you want to build wealth. Like and subscribe. Thanks.